Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find a goalie trade that would be suitable for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season, but in today's video, I'm going to be looking at a couple of different options that could maybe work for the team, and I really do implore you to watch this video to the very end, hear me out, pause the video if you need to at any point, and look at the stats that I'm going to display here, because I think what I'm saying makes sense, but if it doesn't, let me know down in the comment section. The Toronto Maple Leafs are not rumored to be looking for a goalie on the trade market in any way, but the Maple Leafs are very tight up against the salary cap in terms of making upgrades this trade deadline, and as we've stated a bunch of times on this channel, the Maple Leafs have a real unique opportunity in front of them in which all they have to do is be the best team in Canada, and that will get them to a makeshift conference finals in which they will be 4 wins away from the Stanley Cup finals and 8 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup. And I have one of my tweets up on the screen right now. People keep saying to trade Kerfoot to clear cap space, but what about Andersen? I said this in a video I made at the start of the year. $5 million is a lot for average. It's a lot for a guy that needs to figure it out. You can make a lot of upgrades with that money. So it has nothing to do with me not liking Frederik Andersen. Throw that out the window. I'm going to try to be as impartial as I possibly can in this video. But if you could acquire a goalie who has been just as good as Frederik Andersen has been over the last year and a half and is also cheaper, you could then afford to make upgrades to the team around that goalie. If there aren't any clear-cut major upgrades available on the goalie market, the least you could do is upgrade the team around the goalie that you have. And with Frederik Andersen making $5 million, like I said, that's a lot for average. That's a lot for a guy that needs to figure it out. If you can get a goalie making half that much and use the other half of that cap space to go out there and acquire another top 6 forward, another top 4 defenseman maybe, does that bridge the gap and maybe make the goalie woes not as evident? So we're going to spend quite a bit of time looking at this table that I made, and I will go over goalie A, B, C, and D, and explain all the stats one at a time, and then we will get to which goalie is which, and which one is Frederik Andersen. I'll just throw this out here. One of the goalies on this chart is Jonathan Bernier, so finding out which one is Frederik Andersen might be a huge punch in the gut. So goalie A, we got games played, save percentage, high danger shots against per 60, high danger save percentage, medium danger shots against per 60, medium danger save percentage, goals saved above average, and then expected goals saved above average. These are all the goalie stats that you could possibly want to look at in a chart. If you want a quick and dirty stat to look at, goals saved above expectation is the go-to. That is adjusting for the quantity and quality of scoring chances a goalie is facing. But we want to make a little bit more context available here because, like I said, I want to be impartial. So goalie A is Antti Raanta with the Arizona Coyotes. The Arizona Coyotes currently sit 6th place in the Honda West Division. Antti Raanta only has 1 more year left on his contract, set to be a UFA at the end of this season. They have Aiden Hill, who's an RFA right now, and Darcy Kemper, who is signed to a contract beyond this year. And I probably should have said this already, but any trade that you would make for a goalie would include Frederik Andersen going back the other way. And that's okay, because a lot of teams have cap space, but not a lot of teams have real money, actual dollars. And in terms of actual dollars, Frederik Andersen is only making $1 million throughout this season. So goalie B, in comparison to goalie A, played a similar amount of games, had a similar save percentage, faced less high danger shots against per 60, had a similar high danger save percentage, faced less medium danger shots against per 60, had a similar medium danger save percentage, has a similar GSAA, and the goals saved above expectation, there's a slight discrepancy here. Goalie A, Antti Raanta, is the best option here, but goalie B is Linus Ullmark with the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Buffalo Sabres find themselves where they usually find themselves, and that's at the bottom of the standings this year. What use do they have for a goalie who's set to be a UFA at the end of this year? Now, this article from March the 9th is stating that Linus Ullmark is out with a lower body injury right now and is a couple of weeks away. But I decided to include him here on this list because I wanted to have at least 3 more realistic options here where the team's situation, the goalie's contract, and the money would kind of make sense here. And if he's a couple of weeks away, the trade deadline isn't until April the 12th, so he still could be a realistic option. So Goalie C on this chart played more games than Goalie A and B since the start of the 1920 season, has faced the most high-danger shots per 60 out of any of these goalies, has the best high-danger save percentage here, faced a decent amount of medium-danger shots against per 60, has an okay medium-danger save percentage in terms of his GSAA, goals saved above average, and his goals saved above expectation. Pretty close to being average here. This is an average goalie. And after Goalie C, there's only one other goalie on this chart. So that means that either Goalie C or Goalie D is Frederik Andersen. And I said that one of the goalies on this chart was Jonathan Bernier. Goalie C is, I don't know if anyone wants to get a drum roll going there, is not Frederik Andersen. Goalie C is Jonathan Bernier. And if you're looking at the save percentage, better than Frederik Andersen's, faced more high danger shots against per 60, has a better high danger save percentage, faced more medium danger shots against per 60, has a better medium danger save percentage, has a higher goal saved above average, and has a better goal saved above expectation. You're not going to sit there in front of your computer, laptop, tablet, phone, TV, whatever the hell you're watching this video on, and tell me that Frederik Andersen has had a harder time than Jonathan Bernier with the holy effing garbage Detroit Red Wings. I'm sorry, man, there's no likability per 60. If that was a stat, I would have put it in this table. You know what I like? Goalies who stop the puck. You want to know what Frederik Andersen hasn't done since the start of the 1920 season? Stop the puck. And it's not the defense. It's not the defense. If it was the defense, it would show up in this table here. He is 3rd in terms of high danger shots against per 60. He is 4th in terms of medium danger shots against per 60. He has had a lighter workload in terms of scoring chances than Jonathan Bernier and the holy effing garbage Detroit Red Wings and Linus Ullmark and the just as garbage Buffalo Sabres. Since the start of the 1920 season, my cursor is hovering over scoring chances against per 60 at 5-on-5. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 18th in terms of limiting scoring chances against. Below them are 13 other teams. There are 13 other teams that have allowed more scoring chances against per 60 over the last year and a half. Since the start of the 1920 season, the Toronto Maple Leafs have been a very mediocre team defensively. They haven't been good. They haven't been bad. They're not in the bottom 10 in terms of scoring chances allowed per 60. There are 13 other teams that have allowed more scoring chances against per 60 minutes, obviously, because not all teams have played the same amount of games over the last year and a half. In the same time frame since the 1920 season, the Toronto Maple Leafs are 22nd in terms of high danger shot attempts against per 60. The Carolina Hurricanes, who are supposedly a very good defensive team, are below them in this stat. The Toronto Maple Leafs have allowed fewer medium danger shot attempts against per 60 than the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the New York Islanders, who are all perceived to be good defensive teams. I will repeat myself for the people in the back. Frederik Andersen is a below average goalie playing for not a bad, not a good, but a mediocre defense. And if you still think it is the defense, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'll throw in a couple of bonus names here on evolvinghockey.com. Darcy Kuemper, the 2 Columbus goalies. I would be calling on them as well. The reason why I didn't have Darcy Kuemper as one of the goalies highlighted here is because he's injured. He's more than likely going to be back, just like Linus Ullmark, before the trade deadline. But Darcy Kemper has a long list of injuries, and I don't know if I'm comfortable acquiring a goalie that is injury prone. We've already seen Jack Campbell, who's had his issues here, and like I said earlier in the video, in order to receive any sort of benefit from dealing Frederik Andersen or getting another goalie in here who is cheaper, you would need to include Andersen in the trade. And I'll explain why in a minute here, and you're going to see the benefits of it. You're going to see the benefits, and you can weigh the pros and cons. Like I said, I really strongly suggested at the start of this video that you watch the entire thing. Now, if the Maple Leafs were to make the swap, Ranta for Andersen, and the Coyotes were to retain half of Ranta's salary, there would be no change in the actual dollars because Ranta's owed $2 million. They retain half $1,000,000. Andersen's owed $1 million. No change in the actual dollars. But in terms of the cap hit savings, not literally, because deadline cap space is prorated, but the Maple Leafs could add another player making $2.9 million. If the Maple Leafs were to make a swap with the Buffalo Sabres for Linus Ullmark, the Buffalo Sabres would be saving money. They'd be saving money even if they retained half. But the Toronto Maple Leafs would have $3.7 million more in prorated cap space to work with at the trade deadline. If the Maple Leafs were to make a swap with the Detroit Red Wings for Jonathan Bernier, as crazy as that sounds to bring back Jonathan Bernier, the Red Wings would be saving real dollars even if they retained half, and the Maple Leafs would have $3.5 million more in prorated cap space. And at that point, let's say the Maple Leafs want to trade for Mikael Granlund, who they've been linked to. He makes $3.7 million. They could get the Predators to retain half on him as well, which would stretch the range that they would have from $2.9 million to $3.7 million more in deadline prorated cap space from trading Frederik Andersen, and that would double it, basically. Now, it might get expensive to get all these teams to retain salary, but at least it's possible. At least it's an option. Like I said at the beginning of this video, like I showed in this chart, all I said was that if the Maple Leafs could get another goalie that has played just as well or just as bad, same thing. No difference in that wording there. Just as good, just as bad. Same thing. They could get an equal goalie to Frederik Andersen, who also makes less money. They could then afford to upgrade the team around said goalie that they would acquire. I said in my video of what I wanted to see happen for the Maple Leafs at the trade deadline that I wanted them to go out there and get a player like Mikael Granlund, so that makes $3.7 million, and David Savard from the Columbus Blue Jackets, who is a big, tough, defensive defenseman who plays against very tough competition in Columbus. How much better would this team be with another top 6 forward and another top 4 defenseman? And I'm being very kind when I say just as good or just as bad. These other 3 goalies are a lot better than Frederik Andersen, or at least over the last year and a half they have been. I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger here. All I did was display the stats and put them into context. And you know what? No, if you're still here watching this video right now, I shouldn't have to treat you like I'm babying your feelings. Frederik Andersen sucks. He's garbage. He's been terrible this season. He was terrible last season. Yeah, he plays a lot of games. Boo-hoo. He also makes the most money out of all these goalies. So that's it for this video, guys. Make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. I know I've promised this Zach Hyman video for a very long time now, and I apologize for those who have been waiting for it. There's more pressing things going on right now in Leafs Nation and things that we need to talk about. I will get to it. I promise you that.